And welcome to the M2 podcast, everybody. This is episode 2. I'm your host, Mad Mike. We got a show for you. We're going to be talking a little bit about some Twitch drama between Tim the Tatman and Dr. Disrespect. Some new PlayStation 5 information that just released this past week. Recent reports that we can now play our Xbox One games on our Android phones if you are an Android user. Don't worry, Apple users, they will be on the way as well. And some of the recent news and reports of Microsoft acquiring Zenimax Media for an estimated $7.5 billion. But first, I'd like to take a moment to actually thank the listeners of episode 1. I received a lot of positive feedbacks from the podcast, and I really appreciate that. I'd also like to take this moment to announce a new side project that I've been working on. I'm working to put together a Google Calendar for major events on the most popular esports titles. This is going to be a calendar that will be set up for Google Calendar initially, but if you have Apple or whatever calendar source that you use, you will be able to export that, or import it technically, to your calendar of choice. What it will have are major events for the following games: Apex Legends, Arena of Valor, Call of Duty, CSGO, Dota 2, Diablo, Fortnite, Halo 5, Halo Master Chief Collection, League of Legends, and Valorant. I'll be doing my best to keep these updated and keep everybody informed on the scores each week of each game. If that is something you'd like to take advantage of, please join the Discord. All the links are in the description, or you can go to my Twitter, @MadMikeLeachu, to find shortcut links to add the calendar to your mobile, computer, anything that has your calendar. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the updates. Call of Duty recently announced that it will be moving to PC for 2021. The League change does not include mouse and keyboard. The League previously played on PlayStation 4 consoles, and thus pro players will still need to use a controller. In an official statement, the League said, "Today the League is announcing it will move pro team competition to PC and controller beginning with the 2021 season. This means that all pro matches will be played on PC and all pro players must use a League-approved controller of their choice. Call of Duty League competition will maintain exclusive use of controllers for the upcoming season. This change provides players with expanded choice of controller, allowing them to select the League-approved controller style that works best for their game. More details and rules pertaining to peripherals will be released at a future date." Now, this comes as a shock, at least to me, that the Call of Duty League will move away from consoles on the eve of the Xbox Series S and the PS5 coming out later in November. And not only are they moving away from consoles, but they are not allowing players to use a mouse and keyboard. Now, other leagues that can be relatable to Call of Duty in the way that the competition and the prizes and just the overall scale of the events are leagues that include CSGO and Overwatch. Both of those leagues use a mouse and keyboard. It seems to me that the League is trying to make a smooth transition to mouse and keyboard because Call of Duty is typically and traditionally a console shooter. It seems as though they're trying to make that smooth transition to allow pro players time to adapt and move over to mouse and keyboard. Now, there's obvious disadvantages and advantages to using a controller over a mouse and keyboard, or vice versa. For example, a mouse and keyboard, you're going to have more flexibility and precision that a controller is just, they can't match it. However, if you have a controller, you're going to have aim assist, and you'll be able to snap on people quicker, specifically in a game like Call of Duty, when you use really high sensitivities, and then your aim down sights can slow down your sensitivity, and you can use the aim assist to lock your aiming abilities. Now, that is something that you cannot achieve with the mouse and keyboard. Mouse does not have aim assist. However, you can be way more precise as long as you're skilled. I'm not sure how the pro teams are going to be able to handle this. Some console players that switch over and they use the PC, they might not be able to adapt to a mouse and keyboard if the league decides to make that transition in the future. Now, the league also announced that Call of Duty Challengers, which is an open amateur circuit that serves as a feeder for the Call of Duty League, will go cross-platform for 2021. But like the COD League competition, you'll be required to use controllers, regardless of the player's chosen platform. Now, in order to keep the competitive integrity of a shooter, or a video game for that matter, you should have everybody use the same equipment. If you are on a PC, you likely will have higher frame rates, far faster load times, your game will render quickly, or quicker, than standard console, and those are not to be overlooked. Those are significant advantages. So I think it would be foolish for any amateur or pro team right now to stay on the PS5. They'll need to make that adjustment. Now, it's really unfortunate because some amateur teams and players might not have the money to build a PC to keep up with everybody else in order to get those advantages. This is going to end up being a very controversial topic in the world of COD Pro Series and the Pro League and the overall competitive scene. I'm curious to find out if there are any other leagues that will be making this change as well. Now, the schedule for the COD League has yet to be announced, but when it does, we'll put together a calendar and keep everybody up to date. Now, one of the things that they mentioned that's pretty interesting is there's league-approved controllers that have yet to be announced. Now, hopefully they have all the selections possible within reason. I wonder if controllers that have paddles or button modifications of button mapping will be allowed, and how that could impact the competitive integrity of the game. But simultaneously, this could be a really good opportunity for pro and amateur players to sign exclusive deals with certain types of controller manufacturers. Another thought is, how will tournaments work out when we're allowed to have them again? Are players allowed to bring their own PC and controller? Activision hasn't been very good at banning cheaters. With a console, you can pretty much, I would say with a high level of certainty, that they're not cheating. Whereas PC, you can hide a lot of different types of cheats very easily. For example, there's been several controversial events that happened in the CSGO League where players were accused and eventually confirmed and exposed for using wall hacks or aim hacks in the middle of major tournaments. Now, I'm not sure exactly how good Activision's anti-cheat has been recently, but my personal experience in Call of Duty Modern Warfare in the Warzone, it has not been good. There are people that are cheating for months and months and months, and nobody gets banned. I've never seen it in competitive multiplayer or just fun multiplayer, at least blatant. But it's obviously a thing that can happen. So that's a major concern for the future. Now, moving on with another story, I want to talk about some personalities that are in the Twitchverse. Tim the Tatman is arguably one of the biggest streamers that it's on Twitch right now, especially since Dr. Disrespect has left. And because Dr. Disrespect is banned from Twitch, he's not allowed to actually play any games with any partnered, affiliate, or just people that are streaming on Twitch. Because he's banned from the platform, he must be banned from appearing on anybody's stream. Now, if you've ever tuned in to actually watch Tim the Tatman's live streams, he spends about an hour or two at the beginning of each stream just talking with his chat. And there's a clip that's circulating around that actually went viral of him talking about Dr. Disrespect and how he's really not allowed to play games with him anymore. So I went ahead and pulled off the clip, and I'd like to play it for you guys now.
I'm just playing with Doc quite a bit, man. our chemistry, we always, I don't know, man. We always just got along really well. I think the thing with Doc is obviously, you know, he loves just like making fun of people, and I can get made fun of a lot and also give it back to him. It's like a joke, and our chemistry was really good. So I do, you know, I do.
Well done. Command will be pleased.
Rules are rules. So.
Like, and how I feel for Tim, it definitely sucks. I mean, it's got to be really hard on these guys. I mean, sometimes you forget. These are grown men. This is their full-time job. Like, Tim recently had a kid. Doc's significantly older. He has a couple of kids. And what I'm trying to get at here is these guys have very limited time to actually enjoy themselves. So when they're streaming, it's full work. They're working for 8 hours. And then they're editing afterwards, or they're paying people to edit. But really, they're giving their all to do content creation and stay on top of their game. So I think this is really coming from like a personal standpoint where he just misses his friend, man. And it's really, really unfortunate that Doc's banned from Twitch. And like he said, like Tim said, the rules are rules. Because he's banned from the platform, he cannot appear on anybody's stream at all. Twitch still hasn't given a reason, or Dr. Disrespect doesn't know the reason for why he was banned. So I feel as though if we did know and the reason was just, then everybody would understand, like, okay, this guy, we can't play games with him on Twitch, and this is the reason, because Twitch banned him for this, that, and the other. But because we don't have that, it's pretty controversial. And hopefully we find out soon. It's been quite a while, actually. Dr. Disrespect was banned on June 24th. That's almost 3 months ago. Now, if there's any type of legal action that's being done right now, which Dr. Disrespect on his stream has kind of hinted at, hopefully it gets wrapped up before the end of the year. I mean, who knows how the courts really work during this time of year and under these circumstances of 2020. But until then, we're never going to know. And nobody's going to be allowed to play with them unless they play offline and not recorded. Now, a hypothetical situation I'm thinking about. What if Tim the Tat Man was offline playing games with Dr. Disrespect while Dr. Disrespect is streaming on YouTube? I don't think that would be a bannable offense, but the way Twitch works, they can ban you any reason they seem fit and not even tell you the reason. So they kind of own the streamers in a way. But who knows? I won't speculate any further than that. Alright, moving on. So, this one's got me kind of excited. Okay, so PlayStation 5 matches the price of the Xbox Series X. So some of the information that we basically found is PS5 is going to be $500. There is a digital version that will be $400. They are both currently available for pre-order for anybody that's interested. The actual console itself will release November 19th in the UK and November 12th in the US, Japan, and Australia. And that puts them slightly later than Microsoft's November 10th launch date. I was doing a bunch of research trying to figure out the differences between the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I always liked PlayStation, their games, and I was envious of a lot of PS4 owners and players. So this next segment might be a little harsh for you guys. Now, the PS5 has less RAM, CPU, and the GPU are less powerful, which will mean worse resolutions and frame rates, and possibly issues with basic ray tracing over its competition, the Xbox Series X. The PS5 will also be unable to play games from the PS3 or earlier consoles. Now, that could be a fair criticism, only because the Xbox One currently allows you to play original Xbox games digitally on the Xbox Game Pass. I would imagine that they're going to push that over to the Xbox Series X. Now, don't fret too hard, PlayStation fanboys. You'll still get 8K resolution. The frame rate still should be 120 frames per second. But you also get an optical disc drive with 4K ultra high definition Blu-ray. In comparison between the PS5 versus Xbox Series X, one area where the PS5 has a clear advantage over the Xbox Series X is in virtual reality. The PS5 will be fully compatible with the PlayStation VR headset. At the same time, there may also be a new PSVR headset in the works for the PS5, at least eventually. Microsoft, on the other hand, had no plans for the Xbox Series X VR headset. We never got one for the Xbox One either, and Microsoft may not be terribly interested in this kind of technology. Let's call it what it is though. Between the two consoles, they're both going to make profit, and they're probably going to be well received based on their individual fan bases. So this isn't going to be a loss for either party. It's just a fun, friendly competition between rivals at this point. Now, one of the things I would love to talk about right now with the Xbox Series S was they're going to be able to run games from previous consoles at an enhanced resolution of 1440p. So not only will the series run those games, but it will also run them with a much improved resolution than the native 480 720p. However, of course, it will not work on games that have hard-coded fixed resolutions. Before I leave this topic of the PS5 versus Xbox Series X, I'm just going to list some of the exclusive that the PS5 has. First and foremost, they're going to have a new God of War. The last God of War was an absolute hit. It went viral. All the clips, all the YouTube videos were insane. The story was magnificent. I'm not going to give any spoilers right now, but I highly recommend checking it out. There's going to be another Horizon. It's going to be called Horizon Forbidden West. There will also be a Marvel Spider-Man, which follows a story of the character Miles Morales. For any racing fans, there's going to be another Gran Turismo 7. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart will be returning. A remake from the PS3 network, Demon Souls, will be coming. There's going to be a new action game called Returnal. There's a 3D platformer coming out that's called Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Another major title coming is the Final Fantasy series, and several other titles. So although the Xbox Series X is going to be much more powerful, the PS5 most definitely will have titles. Now, one more thing that the Xbox One has recently done, or Microsoft has recently done, they've opened up an Xbox Remote Play, which allows streaming to everyone from their new Android devices. Meaning, you can now stream your Xbox One games to your Android phone for free. Now, this was quite literally announced and released September 21st, aka today, the day at which I'm recording this. I've yet to use it, but you best believe I'm going to be using it and giving a full review. The official word on the street: Microsoft is releasing a new Xbox app for Android today that includes an overhauled design and the ability to remotely play Xbox games streamed directly from your console. The Xbox Remote Play feature, known previously as console streaming, lets you remotely connect to an Xbox console and play games you've already downloaded to it. Now, this is going to be different from the Microsoft Xbox service, because as anyone with an Android phone can now stream all their games directly from their own Xbox One console. The xCloud can currently only work with the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate titles, and games are streamed from the Microsoft's cloud servers instead. So apparently, the Xbox app is basically being updated and designed for the Xbox Series X and S. That's going to be for the console in November. The app should be able to allow you to configure your settings and console downloadings and its relevant updates. You can also download any games you want to your home console, or manage your game library and free up storage space, or simply use a remote control to navigate an Xbox console. So if you don't have the Xbox remote, you can use your phone. That's nothing really new. for Xbox, but if you can actually stream and play on your phone, like let's say stream and play Destiny 2 on your phone, that's going to be amazing. Now, the app is basically in beta right now for the Android phones and tablets in the Google Play Store. Microsoft didn't really make any mention for the iOS, but the mobile app will be updated for the iPhone soon enough. However, reports are saying that it's going to be highly unlikely that remote streaming from Xbox One games will be enabled as part of the update for iOS. Now, from my very brief knowledge of trying to make apps for phones and tablets, I understand that to get apps approved and added to the Android Play Store or App Store, it's very, very easy, very quick, and very efficient. However, on the Apple's iOS store, App Store, it's very difficult, it's strenuous. You have to put in several applications, you have to make sure your app is flawless, because Apple builds a brand upon excellence and the belief that they're unhackable and unable to have errors in their coding. They can't really risk their reputation to put anybody and everybody on there. But at the same time, this is not anybody or everybody. This is Microsoft and this is Xbox. You would think that they would allow you to have remote streaming on the Xbox One games. Of course, this is currently a rumor, and it definitely needs to be updated or confirmed by Microsoft itself, Xbox department, or what have you. So it's only really a matter of time until we find out. It's definitely going to be after it's approved past beta and pushed to the Google Play Store first, because like I said, that's going to be the easiest place for them to actually finish, push, and publish their apps when it's done. And it'll later come to the Apple Store to be approved and hopefully have all the same features. However, regardless, this is going to be a big problem for Stadia. If anybody remembers Stadia, Stadia basically promises a new streaming platform, a new console service that you can play anywhere, everywhere, at all times. Like, take your tablet into the shower, it's waterproof, you can play Minecraft Dungeons on it or freaking StarCraft on it, whatever you wanted. And you don't have to build your own computer or anything like that. They use their online servers. Basically, Microsoft xCloud service is coming here and basically saying, hey, this is our space. You can play us on anything. I'll tell you, it's only a matter of time until some of these TV makers like Samsung, Vizio, LG start shipping their actual like TVs with real controllers. Like it's their own version of the Xbox or PlayStation 4 controller. They're like, it's a smart gaming TV, 4K, 8K ready. And I know it's going to sell bank. Because if all you have to do is hook it up or wirelessly connect it to the internet and use the Xbox Cloud service and just remote log in and start streaming your game. Yeah, sure, there's going to be a little bit of delay. Don't play it online. Just do story mode. Have a good time. Whatever. If you're doing that to begin with, you're not a serious gamer, so what's the big deal? But yeah, Microsoft is making some serious big moves right now. And the big news. Microsoft acquires Zenimax Media for $7.5 billion. This includes studios like Bethesda, ID Software, and Arcane Studios. And all their future games from these studios will appear on Game Pass day one. Now, if you're unfamiliar of these developers, they've created several games. I'm just going to list a few that you might have heard of. Dishonored, Wolfenstein, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Starfield, The Evil Within, Prey, Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, and everybody's Bethesda favorite game. This small indie game, small developer, like they made this like random story called Fallout. Maybe you've heard of it. Hint, it's sarcasm. Dude, that franchise, Fallout, has one of the best stories in the history of video games telling, up until Fallout 76, but we'll get to that later. So, Microsoft coming out of the woodwork and basically being like, yo guys, I know we can't really launch the Xbox Series X with Halo Infinite because they are not really ready under the circumstances of everything that's going on right now. But how about we just go out and buy everything? So that's what they're doing. And holy shit, what a purchase. Now, they went ahead and announced this before the pre-orders even went live for the Xbox Series X. So not only are they launching one of the, or not the most powerful console to date, but they're also going to have Xbox Game Pass have some of the most popular, well-known titles in the history of gaming. It's for sure going to be in the Xbox Game Pass day one, but Microsoft has not confirmed whether or not they're going to be Xbox exclusives. Now, it's interesting because Bethesda games such as Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo were set to be PS5 console exclusives. It's a little bit unclear about what this means for the future. I found an interview by the director and executive producer of Bethesda Game Studios. He has led the development of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls series. Now, he has an official announcement on joining the Xbox team, and here it is. Like our original partnership, this one is about more than one console or one screen. We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games, in their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy. And a belief we should bring that to everyone, regardless of who they are, where you live, or what you play on, regardless of the screen size, the controller, or your ability to even use one. Basically saying they want to make sure that Bethesda games are essentially available to everyone on every electronic device, on every console, your grandma's phone, your little niece's tablet, your Stadia login information that you're stealing from your best friend that makes more money than you. Like, everybody's going to be able to play these games is the goal here. He goes on to say that we can't think of a better group of people to do this with other than those at Xbox. We have friendships that go back to those original days, from Phil to his senior leaders to developer support. They don't just talk about putting players first, they passionately live it. He essentially finishes up by saying, at Bethesda, we've been lucky enough to create games we love and have an audience who loves them as much as we do. I have personally been humbled by the many industry honors I have received as they belong to the entire studio. But one has always stood out for me when I received a Lifetime Achievements Award at GDC, and I joked in my acceptance, I wonder how many achievement points this one's worth. At the end of the ceremony, some good friends at Microsoft congratulated me and said they'd find out. A few months later, I was given a code to a game they created, named after me, locked to my account. When ran, it unlocks a single achievement. Lifetime, 1,000 points. It still sits in my list when I check, and I smile every time. Feels good, man, am I right? This next segment is going to be a little bit rough. I feel for Todd Howard. I understand his position. He's a director. He's the main face to Bethesda Game Studios. But we can't really gloss over Fallout 76, can we? Todd Howard single-handedly turned into a meme after Fallout 76. Like my man at Live E3 back in 2018 when they were first announcing Fallout 76. He talked about how Fallout 76 is going to be the biggest Fallout we've ever made. Everything you see, you'll be able to travel to. Todd's main job is he's the hype man for a game being released. He comes out of the woodwork and he basically says, this is going to be the best game you've ever played. Better than anything you've ever seen before. It's going to be the greatest game of all time. It's a clear example. Fallout 76 is a very, very clear example of what happens when the marketing and business side of a project is completely disconnected from the engineering and development side of the project. Todd was selling the dream of what the game was going to be, without consulting or knowing, or I hope so, hopefully he's not a liar, of what the engineers were capable of and what they were building. Fallout 76 launched with a bunch of bugs, completely flawed. Players were losing real-life monetary value of items in the game. Overall, it was a bad time. And that's what makes this purchase of ZeniMax Media so interesting. Now, Microsoft definitely needs, I believe, more titles for the Xbox. That's going to be released soon. So they might have been, I'm not going to say desperate, because Microsoft makes about like $38 billion in the fourth fiscal quarter of 2020. I think they can afford $7.5 billion to spend or gamble on ZeniMax Media. A sell of this big in the world of gaming is very, very significant. It makes me feel, personally, that there might be something going on behind the scenes. I bring up Fallout 76 because that was a Bethesda debacle. Your main director turns into a meme. Everybody begins to hate you. It's at the height of EA microtransactions. Gamers are losing their minds. And the trust for from game developers is pretty much nil. It doesn't exist. So maybe Microsoft actually got this deal undervalued because of that type of PR. And if so, I gotta congratulate the Microsoft team. I mean, this is next level 5,000 IQ play of saying, hey, Sony, talking all this shit back when I only had Xbox One on the old software? Bro, I was just playing. If you want to come at me like this, and bam, Xbox Series X. Oh no, we gotta actually postpone Halo Infinite. PlayStation comes in like, haha, you guys suck. I mean, you guys are terrible. Oh yeah, is that right? Okay, price point $500. Sony's over here sweating because they know they wanted to sell their consoles for more than that. And they're like, how are these guys making any money off of this? Xbox comes in again. They're like, oh yeah, Xbox Cloud services. You can play your games wherever you want now. Fans are like, what? I can what? Sony's over here just awfully quiet. Like, I mean, we got God of War. That counts for something, right? Like, that's good. Microsoft comes back in. They're like, oh, yeah, you know, Elder Scrolls, Quake, Fallout. It's going to be on the Xbox Game Pass, so if you guys give us, like, sign up for the Xbox Game Pass, Ultimate Pass, you can play that whenever you want. And Sony's just left with their pants down, man. I mean, it's rough. It really is rough for them right now. And I'm not sure if people are aware of that. Like, Xbox and the Microsoft team, they're not even looking at console wars anymore. They're basically saying, this video game space, it's all going to streaming. We're going to make sure that we have all the major deals with the major developers, and we're going to just dominate. And it's basically going to be either you're on Microsoft Windows playing our games, the xCloud services, or you're on an Xbox. I mean, what else you got? What are you going to do? Download Linux? You're going to play on iOS? Come on, dude. Imagine bringing a Mac to a Call of Duty tournament. You're going to get laughed at. Don't do that to yourself. I for the sake of Sony right now, after this major purchase, I hope it's not exclusive to Microsoft products, because if it is, that's a big hit. Real big hit. So I want to go ahead and read off some thoughts about this acquisition from The Verge. They made a couple of compelling arguments, specifically from the writer Nick Stat, on why Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion. He goes on to say that every major publishing decision Microsoft has taken in the last 3 years since the launch of its Xbox Game Pass subscription service indicates it no longer sees much value in exclusivity, or even in selling full-priced games for that matter. One of the biggest franchises in gaming, Halo, isn't even exclusive to the Xbox platform anymore. Thanks to xCloud, you can play Halo on the Android phone if you'd like. The next major release in the series, Halo Infinite, will be free on the Xbox Pass for console and PC when it launches next year. Microsoft is no longer playing the same game as Sony, and Bethesda purchase may well make that point clearer than ever. Sony has followed a tried and true strategy of acquiring promising developers and nurturing them over many years to produce large sequel-friendly franchises like Spider-Man. It also maintains strong relationships with independent Japanese partners like From Software and Square Enix to help maintain its edge so that the Final Fantasy game or Demon's Souls remake comes to PlayStation first. Instead, he goes on, the question we should be asking about Microsoft is what Bethesda brings to the Xbox Game Pass and how owning that library helps Microsoft achieve its vision for its subscription service going forward. What's immediately clear is that Bethesda acquisition makes Game Pass an even better deal, which is, without question, Microsoft's most pivotal priority heading into the next console generation this summer. Which is, without question, Microsoft's most pivotal priority heading into the next console generation this November. I gotta agree with The Verge on this one. Microsoft is playing a different game. They're playing the long game now. They realize that everything is going to go digital, everything is going to be over the cloud, everything is going to be streaming in the future. All you're really going to need is a tablet to game on, at least casually. Unless you're doing competitively, you're probably going to need a mouse and keyboard. Now, I don't think that Microsoft should buy these developers and keep them entirely exclusive to Microsoft products. I think they should allow it for everybody. I think they should play the business game of, we own the rights, we'll let you use the rights for free, do what you will with them. Just know that because we own it, we will have the better deal on our platform. And truly, I think that the future is for Xbox to really, really take hold of everything now, is to expand the Xbox Game Pass and make it so it's similar to Steam, to where, my god, what if they purchase Steam next? Dear Christ, now I can't go to sleep tonight with that thought in my head. But anyways, Microsoft is definitely playing the long game. They're going with the subscription-based services. They already have Xbox Live services. They're going with the Xbox Game Pass services now. They're just going to be raking in consistent revenue every single month. But I think the real goal here is that Microsoft no longer cares if you own an Xbox or a PC or a PlayStation or a Nintendo or some off-brand indie developer that wants to do a side project. They really only care now is, are you going to give me $10 a month for Xbox Game Pass? Or even $15 a month for the Ultimate Game Pass? So you can have, I don't know, like 200 world-class titles over here. By the way, all generations. You want Xbox One? We got that. Original Xbox, by the way. You want Xbox 360? We got that. Here you go. You want to play Crimson Skies? No problem, dude. You want to play the original Call of Duty 3? Yeah. Let's go, dude. And I do think this is a major hit to Sony. It'll be really interesting to see how the NASDAQ stock market reacts to this news. But I'm excited for it. I really am. Like, when it comes to Bethesda, ID Software, I mean, these are really, really good developers. And I'm really excited to have them on Game Pass. Like, as a gamer, I already have the Ultimate Game Pass. Like, $15 a month to play whatever game I want. Like, I'm a streamer. I do this podcast. I do YouTube. At least I need to start doing a little bit more. Side note, incoming video this week. But you gotta have the Game Pass. It's easy access to all the games you want. A new title comes out. You tell me, like, the next Fallout is gonna be on Game Pass, probably? Like, bruh, the next Doom on Game Pass? I don't have to pay $60 to get the game and own it. Play the game, enjoy it, uninstall it, move on to the next game, do the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know, I feel like I'm getting a little sidetracked right now. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts and opinions? If you want to join the discussion, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok even. Send me DMs, I don't care. My handle is @MadMikeLeachu. The U is the letter U, all one word. If you don't want to do that, there will be a link for the Discord where you can join up in the Discord and get plenty more information. I post tons of news links, dank memes, esports personalities, and general information, all this other stuff on there. So definitely check it out. And if you're not even interested in that, you don't have Discord, log into Twitch. I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. to about 10, 11 o'clock. I always go longer than 2 hours. 7 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. Have a good one, and we'll see you next week for episode 3. Peace.